Yeah, I think the Earth is round or rather spherical.
Or rather ellipsoidal.
When I was in school, I knew the Earth was round because I was told so. But in the end, isn't that a bit flimsy?
Well, I would have said the Earth was square since there are idiots in every corner.
Yeah, I know you've heard that one before. The day I heard about the flat Earth theory, not the biblical creationist version driven by religion and spirituality, which ignores logic and relies solely on belief.
Eat, this is my body.
Ouch, damn, that idiot bit me!
No, I mean the one we might call a conspiracy theorist. That caught my attention since learning and understanding are different. I had just learned the Earth was round.
With all the alcohol I spill, it could be round, I'm telling you.
10% of French people think the Earth is flat. That doesn't really surprise me. They're called flat earthers because they believe in the flat Earth theory. It's a bit of a mouthful. They're often insulted and called idiots.
Idiot? That's nice because the insult I got was more like,
They may not be the dumbest, but they're smarter than those who try to explain why the Earth is round. They were taught that without truly understanding it, and those people make up over 10%.
So is it a circle or not?
Oh no, that's a round Earth. A flat circle, yes, but still a circle.
they used the same word for two things. What are we going to do?
No, because that's actually a sphere, a ball, a globe.
An ellipsoid.
You might think it's sexist that the dumbest character is a woman, but who says it's really a woman? Nothing reassures flat earthers more than encountering weak arguments they can easily dismantle.
The Earth is round. 4 simple words to you. For me, it's taken 1,000 pages to believe it's flat.
Because there's still something amazing, which is that you can win a debate with arguments without necessarily being right.
Four ways to show Earth is round without space travel.
Yeah, I know it's another Loeb's video, but what can you do? This channel is a goldmine.
This YouTube channel is managed by Loeb's Visual Department, France's first weekly news magazine.
Ah well, the cream of the crop of journalism. And Nouvel Observateur comes from Nouvel Observateur, Nouvel Observateur Observateur. They could hardly be less aptly named.
Me, I'm a good observer.
Okay, except maybe him.
Oh wow, they're kissing on the mouth with tongue too.
Huh? Me? I'm alone. Alright, let's get back to the point. 4 ways to prove that the Earth is round.
Let's take a basketball player who's 1 meter 80 and a child who's 1 meter tall. If the Earth were flat, both would see a boat on the horizon at the same time and in full with equal vision. But if the Earth is round, the taller basketball player will see the boat first and only the top of the mast. While at the same time, the child still won't see anything at all.
Let's move on from questioning why a basketball player is 6 feet tall. Do we need quotas even in drawings? If a woman is tall, people assume she must play basketball. Why not use an average height man, 6 feet tall, or even better, a 7'2" basketball player? Yes, because a bigger difference makes the example more convincing. If Earth is round, being higher lets you see farther to the horizon. But even with just an 80 centimeter difference, it still works theoretically. Alright, we're going to need a bit of Pythagoras and a beautiful sketch to explain all this. Basically, we're looking for the distance to the horizon D and we'll need it. R, the radius of the Earth, and H, the height of the eyes. So the radius of the Earth is a little over 6 million meters. And H, since you must use the same unit, we're at 1.7 meters for someone who is 1.8 meters and 90 centimeters for someone who is 1 meter tall. And by doing a calculation, well, a bit complicated, but not too much. It's tough to do in my head, but I don't have a calculator. We get about 4,657 meters as the distance to the horizon for a person who is 1 meter 70. That means here we have about 4.6 kilometers of visible distance. And for a little one who is 1 meter 90 there, we have just over 3.4 more or less. I'm rounding up, okay? 3.4 kilometers. My handwriting is bad since I'm left-handed. Oh well, it's my left hand. And I took a 10-meter boat, you know, just to round things up. It's easier for the calculations. You'll see it just beyond the horizon at about 11 kilometers. 0.3, come on. Very well written. Which means that actually a basketball player, theoretically, can nearly spot a 10-meter boat from 16 kilometers away. Whereas the little boy, who's 90 centimeters tall, at the eye withers, that's what it's called, well, he'll only see up to 14.7. If the Earth is really round, well, that's how it works. That's how we explain it. But it's still just math on paper. It's not science. There are a lot of missing parameters. I don't know. For example, air humidity, pollution, water reflections, the mirage effect. Being closer to water increases visual distortion.
And then underwater, nobody sees the boat, right? With 10 Ricards, you don't see it either.
In practice, being just 80 centimeters apart, both will likely see the boat simultaneously. You can sense it here even when they claim to be impartial, including scientists. Careful! They're clearly convinced the Earth is round. They base everything on that assumption to reassure themselves. But if you assume the Earth is flat, it's easy to explain why the basketball player sees the boat before the little bambino. And I can show this in several ways. Perspective, gravity, visual distortion, hydrometry, water reflections, pollution and all that, but I'll keep it simple. And I'll do like they did in their example.
Only through mathematics?
By telling you that when you have a surface of water like this, one thing that inevitably happens is differences in the water level, which we can represent, please, as waves, and you can say that when you already see that there are waves. Even half a meter at the end of 20 meters. After a kilometer, they may reach 1.5 meters high, and already there you can tell yourself that 1.5 meters at the end of a kilometer, well, after a certain distance, the little kid, he won't see much anymore. There you go. Whereas the girl, she can always see it unless she goes farther, where the waves may be taller than her. Makes sense? And so she loses sight of it and can't see it anymore. Quite simply, our vision isn't unlimited. And you can easily confirm that by just saying, well, yeah. When the sea is calm, you can see much farther than when the sea is rough. That's a fact. What I mean is that logically you shouldn't just prove that the Earth can be round, but that it definitely is, or at the very least, that it isn't flat.
Take two friends talking on Skype. One lives in Strasbourg, the other in Brest. Ask them to watch a sunset at the same time. If the Earth were flat, both would see the sunset at the same time. If the Earth is round, the person in Strasbourg will see the sunset more than 45 minutes before the person in Brest.
Oh, come on. Maybe they're watching the new Nouvel Observateur, but they're not getting any information at all. No, nobody in the flat Earth theory ever said that the sun goes underneath. No, the sun would be a directional light above the Earth, moving in circles like this. Actually, the other way, yes. That explains why the sun sets 45 minutes earlier in Strasbourg than in Brest. And the laws of perspective are supposed to explain why it gives us the illusion that it's setting, even though it's still facing the Earth. Facing the Earth! The flat Earth paradigm has led a whole growing community to ask a lot of questions and to solve all the problems one by one. The sun's path makes sense for the seasons. In spring, its circles shrink until it passes over the Tropic of Cancer at the summer solstice. And conversely, they get bigger until the Tropic of Capricorn, bringing winter to the north. You can find good consistency there. From France or the Northern Hemisphere, it's harder to explain why in southern Chile. Yeah, that's America, but in southern Chile at Christmas, there are about 17 hours of sunlight daily. And with the flat Earth model, well, normally it should be more night than anything else. The time it takes to go around and come back, even if the sun can be explained, well, no, but it's almost night all day long. That's why flat earthers rarely discuss explanations involving the far south. Several elements still cause confusion. The fact that Antarctica is hard to access and that it's much colder there than in the Arctic. Is there any logic to it? The continents are closer together, with more near the North Pole and fewer near the South Pole. So it's difficult to have real human records, well, close to that area. That's it. Except obviously for scientists and the military, but there's mistrust.
With the laws of gravity, if the Earth were flat, the farther you moved from the center of the Earth, the more you would be tilted, and the trees too. If the Earth is round, everything on its surface is pulled toward the center, so everything stays upright.
Many flat earthers reject the laws of gravity, so relying on them isn't that clever. If we assume the Earth is flat, we must think of it that way. Saying the Earth can't be flat because everyone would be leaning, it's exactly the same level as what you could hear in the Middle Ages or last week. Namely that if the Earth were round, well, that would mean that in Australia people would have their heads upside down.
That doesn't make sense. It's the same level. If the Earth is flat and we're all standing upright, that's the starting point.
That means that if there is gravity, well,
Gravity would be like this.
quite simply. So, why can it be like that? Maybe because it's that element that creates gravity? I don't know. Or maybe there's something really, really far away, but really far, like a magnet or a black hole if you want, that's pulling everything down. It's so far away that the angle is tiny. There you go, that explains it. Maybe it's a bit far-fetched. But I want you to understand there's no point convincing those already convinced.
Especially since those who are convinced without understanding in a debate often end up defeated like fools. Oh, that was a good one. Come on, I'm going to pour myself another drink.
And you really think that's an argument that can convince them? The Earth is round because everything stays upright.
Me, when I walk crooked, it's because God is scratching on the flat Earth. Yeah, on the vinyl planet. Yeah!
That reminds me of Eratosthenes, who, 2,300 years ago, calculated Earth's circumference accurately and presented his work to scholars exclaiming,
The Earth is round because everything stays upright.
During a lunar eclipse, Earth's shadow moves over the moon. If the Earth were flat, you would see a straight shadow on the moon. But since the Earth is round, the shadow is indeed curved.
No, but they're serious about this. That guy thinks he's found the perfect way to end the debate.
Because Earth is round, the shadow is curved. That's it. Done. I'm a living God. Day's over. Let's go.
But since the Earth is round, the shadow is indeed a curve.
Alright, I'll still give you the names of the awesome team because they deserve it. Alright, let's try to stick to their logic, meaning that if the Earth is flat, the Sun goes behind the Earth. Well, when we have the Moon here very nicely represented, and the flat Earth, who sees the Moon, obviously, when the Sun is going to pass behind it? Well, oh no, the shadow, it's a curve! But it still works. It's not possible because the Earth, even though it's flat, is a circle. So, ideally, it would have to be like this. You see, it still curves and is complicated. Plus, from flat Earth, the Moon is invisible, so there's no point. At worst, by tilting slightly, you can still see the Moon. Here, the curve is less pronounced, which actually matches reality more. During lunar eclipses, the Earth's larger size makes the curve on the Moon appear gentle. Anyway, as we said about flat earthers, the Sun never goes under the Earth. No, Earth never comes between the Sun and Moon. Another phenomenon causes eclipses. Afterwards, it depends. Sometimes it's the passage of another celestial body, usually invisible, or it could be the Moon sending out its own light.
Yeah, kind of like a car's headlight, and then sometimes it drives with the lights off, like me when I don't want to get caught by the cops.
You have to understand that there are flat earthers who have thought a lot about their subject, and so they have answers that pretty much hold up to almost any question. Unlike a lot of people telling them,
well, the Earth is round and the sun goes around it.
and yes, 26% of Americans don't know that the Earth goes around the Sun. There's no survey for the French, but I bet we're close. It shows you can learn things incorrectly if you don't understand them. Flat earthers often have seemingly reasonable answers for one another, but these explanations fall apart when combined. Often the explanations no longer hold up. For example, a system that could validate the paths of the sun, moon, and seasons. It becomes problematic when considering daylight hours in the southernmost regions and the position of the stars. The night sky in the southern hemisphere, such as in Nouméa, shares no stars with what you see from Beaujolais. I'm not here to convince anyone, you know? Everyone has their own path, and with reflection, it eventually leads to the truth.
4,500 years ago, a saying already went. Mistakes and lies collapse with time. Only the truth remains because it's true. That's its strength.
I'm just saying, the Mayans predicted planetary movements, and we found the Antikythera mechanism, a machine over 2,000 years old, which accurately positioned the visible planets of the solar system revolving around the sun, and the moon's elliptical orbit around Earth, with the date of each eclipse as well. To show the ancients were serious, consider the moon's color. maybe this is a lasting scientific truth. I mean, you can't answer such a complex question even if it seems simple to some people like them. With such a clumsy answer and a poorly made video, it just feels like they're telling us.
Well, the earth is round because that's just how it is. That's what we're taught in school.
And that led me to this question. Isn't that treating people like idiots while being one yourself? Who gave rise to this distrust, this growing suspicion toward our institutions, our media, and those who lead us?
It's true, we've experienced some austerity over the past decade. But it's a necessary breeding ground if we want to grow billionaires.
It seems logical to think they're hiding the truth or lying to us, since that often happens.
The Chernobyl cloud stopped at the border. Yeah, I was the one who said that back then. Someone kind of whispered it to me.
Afterward, reconnecting with nuclear safety wasn't easy.
So, obviously, among conspiracy theorists, there are idiots. That's normal. There are idiots everywhere. There are also gullible people ready to believe anything.
These glasses reveal reptilians. I bought 2 pairs.
But there are also curious people, often more attached to their perception of reality than to what they're asked to blindly believe.
Oh well, the earth is flat. I just checked the level.
It makes sense, especially as we become increasingly disconnected from reality.
Although, pandaruli,
They are often overconnected. Sons of the internet, quick to trust any YouTube video without testing it themselves.
Now, if I say I saw it, he finished the level.
Dreaming of themselves as the last adventurers, but often without moving their butts from their chairs.
If Earth were round and I sat in a rolling chair, I'd always have to hold my desk or I'd roll back. But that's not the case here.
I understand why someone might have doubts, and I think that's healthy. If, of course, he takes the trouble to justify his doubts. I often doubt things. Ultimately, I find it harder to understand those who criticize doubters. Is it to prove that he's smarter? That he was taught the right way to see the world? Or is he scared his certainties will collapse?
No, but there are things you just can't question. That's how it is.
Does believing in a flat earth actually harm anyone? Is it just a belief? Shouldn't we respect others' beliefs? We're expected to respect people who believe in God, Allah, or paradise, but not someone who says the earth is flat. Then respect disappears. Honestly, I don't have an opinion yet.
No, but conspiracy theories harm the republic's and democracy's values. Look at the poll that says 79% of French people believe in at least one conspiracy theory. It's awful.
Believing in a flat earth with an ice wall, and for some extra continents around it, right? Where, among others, Atlanteans from Atlantis supposedly migrated and settled. Some say there are 3 levels and 4 suns, but ultimately it only hurts those who doubt. Because whether we question our media, the goodwill of our government, the lack of humanity of certain untouchables, or a global conspiracy on the hidden edges of our flat earth, well, we all end up in the same place.
yes, in my basket of conspiracy theorists.
Oh, a yellow vest.
I think we need to doubt. Most importantly, confront your doubts, don't fear mistakes, and stay open-minded. And of course, don't insult someone who doesn't think the same way. That just gives them more reasons to keep doubting. Afterwards, despite what this video implies, there aren't only globists, right? Globuleux? Well, it's not only on that side where people act badly and insult others while cycling.
Sunday cyclist!
Come on, the rocks!
I'm probably a conspiracy theorist myself, siding with flat earthers and similar groups. If you don't want them forcing their certainties on you, then stop imposing your doubts on them.
Oh, but I don't doubt anything. I don't believe conspiracy theories. I trust our institutions, media, and government. Jacques Attali, Bernard-Henri Lévy, our president, and Europe.
Well, maybe there's a middle ground between someone who never doubts anything.
I can't see to the sides, I just go straight ahead. I can't see to the sides, I just go straight ahead. I can't see to the sides, I just go straight ahead. I can't see to the sides, I just go straight ahead.
And someone who doubts everything. I can only see to the sides, I run straight into the wall. I can only see to the sides, I run straight into the wall. I can only see to the sides, I run straight into the wall.